Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. It would appear that the general conspiracy theory that the United States government is hiding alien spacecraft has hit sort of a resurgence, mostly due to the so-called alleged whistleblowers. And I use the word alleged because I don't believe that people like David Grush or others, Jason Sands, suddenly calling themselves whistleblowers, have actually earned that title. Mostly because a whistleblower has evidence and proof of their claims. I would consider someone like Chelsea Manning a whistleblower, or Edward Snowden, or even Julian Assange, because they have a tremendous amount of evidence to prove the claims that they are making. They are blowing the whistle and providing details and evidence to prove that their claims are accurate and correct. But in the case of David Grush and many others calling themselves a whistleblower, they don't have any actual evidence. We're up to 436 days now since David Grush first made his claims, and he has provided exactly zero evidence. Now, there's a multitude of excuses that people are using. It's classified. No, it's not, as evidenced by the fact that the Pentagon Office of Pre-Publication cleared him to talk about those things. If alien bodies and alien spacecraft were classified in any way, they wouldn't have allowed him to say anything about them. But don't let things like facts and evidence get in the way of a good story that you could sell. It's also important to note that there was a great deal of marketing behind Mr. Grush and his claims. In fact, calling him the, quote, UFO whistleblower, unquote. And it is also important to note, people have cried and complained that I haven't shown the evidence of this. I just have to make a spreadsheet for stupid people. But it's true. It's a true statement that hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars has been generated by Dave Grush telling his completely evidence-free stories. Also important to note that through the reporting of people like Stephen Greenstreet, Art Levine of the Washington Spectator, and of course me, what we know is that the people that generally are making all of these claims, it all sort of comes from a core group of people that have been making these very same claims for years, but never proving them. It's people like Eric Davis and Hal Puthoff and the usual cast of characters, Bob Bigelow. So it's a very small group of people that many or most of these claims originate from. And I think that's important. Equally important is that none of those people have ever proven their claims, but every once in a while, they find a new frontman like Lou Elizondo or David Grush to push these very same claims that they never proved the last 10 times that they were pushing them. And I think that this has reached a certain level of insanity that we should recognize, because I've used this example several times and I'll use it again. People who are UFO fanatics and truly believe the conspiracy theory that the United States government is hiding alien spacecraft and even alien bodies are essentially forcing the government to waste an incredible amount of time and resources investigating their evidence-free claims. And, imagine if somebody that was a real believer in unicorns, a group of them got together and demanded that the United States government investigate and show us the unicorns. I mean, that's basically what's happening here. It's just a ridiculous situation that we find ourselves in. I'm going to take a moment to recognize some kind and generous people starting the show off right, praising the cash. Thank you, guys. Richard Crawley with a kind and generous $6.99 Canadian. Well, thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Longtime show supporter, Richard Crawley. We appreciate every bit of support. For those unaware, we read every single super chat. If you buy me a coffee, just leave a note with your chat room user ID. We read those out. If you send a PayPal pledge, add a note and leave your chat room user ID, any message you want me to read, and we read those out. If you become a YouTube channel member during a live broadcast, we give you a big shout out and thank you as well. So thank you, Richard Crawley, for appreciating us. We certainly appreciate you as well and your kindness.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
And one moment here, we've also got a kind and generous 10 pound from Krister Wister, who says, why the futtermucker doesn't anyone go after Puthoff? Why doesn't Sean Kirkpatrick or other take care of this CIA LSD religious clown? You know, it's interesting. Hal Puthoff was at one time a very high-ranking Scientologist, and Hal Puthoff essentially also claimed that he got superpowers from Scientology, the same kind of superpowers that I believe Lou Elizondo is claiming to have. Remote viewing superpowers. A great deal of paranormal nonsense all goes back to Hal Puthoff. Free energy conspiracies and claims, remote viewing and psychic superpower claims, aliens and alien body claims, aliens and alien crash retrieval claims, all go back to Hal Puthoff, who's been heavily involved in all of this stuff his entire life. But it's interesting that despite the number of claims, Krister Wister, he's never proven anything. You know, if you're going to say you have superpowers, you should be able to prove it, right? I mean, it's just so ridiculous, though. And I think it's very interesting that Lou Elizondo's new book is essentially an entire book full of Hal Puthoff told me, my other friend Jim Semivan told me, Christopher Mellon told me. He's just repeating ridiculous claims. And nobody has any evidence, which I find interesting. But thank you, Krister Wister, for your kindness and helping us too.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
That's right. We are praising the cash, friends. And thank you. And I'll take a moment to recognize and welcome in the live chat, whether you're watching us on X, I've finally stopped saying Twitter, or on our Facebook Live feed. You are most welcome. And interestingly, before we begin our broadcast, I wanted to mention we were going to have Jay Widener on this evening, but Jay Widener kind of made me nervous by not confirming his appearance until pretty late. So I just decided to run this show, which I've been preparing for some time, given the popularity of the conspiracy theories that are kind of resurfacing due to people essentially repeating the same old claims that we've all heard many, many times. But before we begin, I wanted to take a moment to talk for just a moment about David Wilcock and his terrible influence on some people. My inbox is getting flooded with essentially David Wilcock survivor stories. And regardless of how you feel about Mr. Wilcock or his various claims, it's evident, at least to this reporter, that Mr. Wilcock has had a very negative impact on many people. Here we have a Wyokish Zemblasak, I hope I'm saying that correct, who says, I feel so ridiculous and sad. David Wilcock isn't the person I thought he was. I've been defending what I thought was a bright and misunderstood person, and I feel so angry and upset. She used a broken heart emoji here. Leading people astray like this is so very, very wrong, and now I feel almost tainted. There are so many frauds in this world. Please look out for them. I won't speak hate, but please all forgive me for thinking him to be a source of wisdom. I'm so sorry to all of my star family. And people are being very supportive. I even saw the Hidden Podcast say, hey, you're welcome to come and hang out with us or Steve Cambine over at True Seekers and laugh at the ridiculousness of it. It's also interesting to note that I'm not doing a David Wilcock show this week. And I don't want people to think that he has been successful in intimidating me into silence. That is not the case. I just don't want to talk about that clown until I decide that I am ready. I am also preparing a presentation of his past claims and failed prophecies and things like that, all with 100% proof or evidence that I am correct when I say that David Wilcock is a joke, essentially. We want to thank Legal Eagle for a kind and generous $15. The government is hiding Wilcock's hover cars and phony jets. Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's a good explanation as any. The Men in Black stole his anti-gravity engine. That's why he can't make the hover car anymore. But thank you, Legal Eagle, for helping us to praise the cat.
Praise the cash, praise the cash.
Also, just a note, I have been researching some things related to that situation. For example, Logan Paul, one second. Windows, it's time to restart for updates. No, it's not. Not during a live broadcast. Bill Gates, Jesus Christ, what are you thinking? So I've been researching some things, and it's interesting that right now, I can't really compare my situation to theirs because these are huge, huge platforms with huge, huge audiences. But Logan Paul is essentially suing CoffeeZilla for covering what can only be described, or what has been described, as a crypto scam and an NFT scam. And that situation is interesting because first Logan Paul threatened to sue him. Then Logan Paul said, oh, he did a great job exposing, my shady business partners. It was all their fault, and I'm going to give the money back. Still hasn't given all the money back. He apologized to CoffeeZilla, but then I think CoffeeZilla did another video like, where's the money? You said you were going to give back the money. Now he's suing CoffeeZilla for slander and defamation. Among other things. And yeah, I'll be watching that case to see how it turns out. But I don't believe he's going to be successful. CoffeeZilla, he must have a great deal of financial resources because he hired the very same attorneys to defend him that filed the lawsuits against Alex Jones. And they're very expensive lawyers, and this will be the first time that they're defending a defamation and slander lawsuit instead of bringing one. But I think he's going to be very successful, and I have joined CoffeeZilla's Patreon just to throw a couple of bucks in his hat, because a journalist who is covering people that are taking advantage of people, let's just say it that way, should never be sued into silence. That's my personal opinion. I feel very, very strongly about that. Remember that these lawsuits are designed to silence critics. There's no slander. There's no defamation in many cases. There's no torturous interference of business. And let me put that on the record. If somebody covering you lying to your audience over and over and over and over again while you're collecting money from them is what you consider torturous interference of your business, then maybe you, sir, are in the wrong business. It's not interference in your business telling people the truth while you're lying to people. So anyway, let's get back to the subject at hand, which is the United States government hiding alien spacecraft? Now, I want to be very clear and very honest. I always try to be honest with my audience. I have to admit that I was once completely and totally convinced that the United States government was hiding crash retrievals, alien spacecraft, even alien bodies. I was all chips in, 100% believed it until I started doing my due diligence. And see, this is one of the problems that we can talk about. I could talk about it in great detail. These stories always are over sensationalized and clickbaity. There's a reason for that. We live in an attention-based economy. They just want you to click on their article. But if you start actually digging into the claims being made, you come away with a different perspective and start realizing, first of all, a lot of these stories use anonymous sources. Second of all, if they do name the source, it's often a very easily discreditable person. That's not somebody you should trust with extraordinary claims. People like Bob Lazar, who's a convicted pimp, criminal, and a fake scientist. I just want to make sure everybody understands that I used to 100% believe this, and it took quite a long time, and I would say thousands of hours of research into these areas before I decided that I don't believe that the United States government is hiding alien spacecraft. 1 second, let me thank Krista Wester for a kind and generous 10 pounds. When I have these acid references, please read Acid Dream. The CIA was heavily drenched in acid and other drugs. I suspect Sarfati and Putoff was in the middle of that. Might explain a lot. Yeah, you could be right. And we thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
I think that a lot of people's claims may be influenced by drugs, and we've seen examples of this. Anjali, who claimed to have alien contact inside a mountain, was on 5 or I don't know how many, I can't remember exactly how many, so forgive me if I misspeak, but she was on multiple drugs when she had her so-called alien encounter. If you're going to take a lot of mind-altering substances, you might start seeing things, including aliens. And actually, when somebody starts telling me about their alien experience, one of the first questions I ask them, were you on any drugs or alcohol at the time? And you'd be surprised how many people openly admit, oh, well, yeah, I took some shrooms, but the aliens were definitely real. But, you have to consider people's state of mind when they have the so-called experiences. Now, certainly other people have told me, no, they weren't on any form of drugs or alcohol. And, that person I'm more inclined to believe than somebody that just took a bunch of, if you take a bunch of hallucinogens, you're going to see some things, And I believe that hallucinogens are really sacred and shouldn't be taken for recreational purposes. That's my personal belief. Yours may differ. But in any case, we're going to get to the story. Is the United States government hiding alien spacecraft? So Conspiracy theories about crashed alien spacecraft and the recovery of extraterrestrial bodies have captivated the public's imagination for decades now. Central to these beliefs are rumors of secret government installations like Area 51 and, of course, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and Hangar 18, where alien technology and bodies are allegedly studied and stored. Tonight, we're going to critically analyze some of these conspiracy theories and focus on the credibility of the claims, the evidence provided or lack thereof, the origins of these different narratives, and the instances where such theories have been debunked or proven false. I believe that by examining these stories through a skeptical lens, we can separate fact from fiction in the complex web of UFO mythology. And let's be clear, this is a form of modern mythology. People, just like in all other mythologies or folklore, people add on to the stories. The stories evolve over time. They become more grand and new parts are added to them. This is exactly what happens with folklore and mythology. So the belief that the United States government is concealing evidence of extraterrestrial spacecraft and recovered alien bodies has been a persistent theme in popular culture and conspiracy theories. From the infamous Roswell incident to modern day speculations about Area 51, these narratives have evolved, in some cases quite substantially, over time. Fueled by a mixture of genuine mystery, hoaxes, and media sensationalism, tonight we'll critically examine some of those theories, explore their origins, and the cultural factors that contribute to their persistence. So all roads lead back to Roswell, friends. And for those unaware, I did probably the most exhaustive deep dive into the Roswell event on the internet. We talked to every Roswell expert and author, including skeptics and believers. I was sure by the end of that I would know the truth about Roswell. But Roswell remains a mystery to me, and I can't make up my mind of exactly what it is that crashed. There's evidence to support all the major theories about it. So the concept of crashed alien spacecraft really did enter the public's consciousness with the 1947 Roswell incident, which interestingly was sort of forgotten about after it happened until the early 80s when UFO investigators began re-examining the case, most notably Stan Friedman. Initially reported as a flying disc by the US military, the story quickly changed to describe the debris as a weather balloon, leading to widespread speculation of a cover-up. And it's important to note that during the course of our Roswell deep dive, we uncovered not one, but two sources. Jesse Marcel was the first source, and you'll have to forgive me, the other person's name escapes me, but it was another Army officer. So there's actually two different sources that say that the Roswell wreckage that they took pictures of was not the wreckage that was recovered. This is the so-called debris switch theory, that they took the real debris to Wright-Patterson, and then the cover-up story was, hey, let's get a bunch of pieces of weather balloons and put Jesse Marcel here and call the press and let them take pictures of it. I'm not sure what I believe, but I do know for a fact that there are two sources that claim that the pictures we see in the famous pictures that we see of the Roswell debris was actually switched right before the media arrived somehow. So the story quickly changed to describe the debris as weather balloon. And again, of course, people claimed that there was a cover-up. And over the decades, this incident has been embellished with claims of alien bodies being recovered and hidden by the government, which forms the foundation for many subsequent conspiracy theories. And it's important to note that the initial story had no claims of bodies, none of that. These were additions. After the story got hugely popular, suddenly more people started coming forward with different claims, including claims that there were alien bodies involved in the initial crash. It's important to note that these narratives, including Roswell, are often bolstered by anecdotal accounts and unverified testimonies from supposed insiders, which I believe creates a feedback loop where new claims build upon existing claims, which further entrenches the belief in a government conspiracy. However, critical examination of those claims often reveals a lack of credible evidence and a propensity for hoaxes, misinformation, and sensationalism, which serves to shape public perception about those events. Now, on to the bodies, because one of the most sensational aspects of the crashed alien spacecraft narrative is the claim that the US government has recovered and even autopsied alien bodies, and in some stories even have recovered a live alien that they housed at Area 51 or Hangar 18 at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base for a time. These stories often originate from single individuals. In other words, it's a one-source story. And these individuals often claim to have some sort of insider knowledge or have worked in secret government facilities. Then, of course, there is the famous alien autopsy myth from the Roswell incident. The Roswell incident is frequently cited as the primary example of alien body recovery. However, even after 75 plus years, there's never been actual proof of alien biologics or alien bodies recovered, just stories. But according to some conspiracy theories and theorists, the debris recovered from Roswell included not only advanced technology, but also the bodies or remains of extraterrestrial beings. These bodies were allegedly transported to secret facilities for study and autopsy and dissection. In 1995, alien autopsy film was released, purportedly showing the dissection of an alien recovered from Roswell, which added a great deal of fuel to the fire of these claims. However, the film was later revealed to be a complete and total fake hoax, with its creator admitting that it was a work of fiction. Despite this, the imagery and narrative from that film, Alien Autopsy, have persisted in the public's consciousness, becoming an enduring aspect of UFO mythology and lore. So what we see is that the credibility of claims about recovered alien bodies is often undermined by the lack of tangible evidence. Testimonies from individuals like Bob Lazar, who was a convicted pimp and a fake scientist, who claimed to be a senior staff level physicist who worked on reverse engineering alien technology at Area 51. But Mr. Lazar's claims have been met with skepticism due to the many inconsistencies in his stories and the absence of any corroborating documentation whatsoever. It's important to note that his entire claim of being a scientist is completely and totally fake, because Bob Lazar didn't go to college. Well, he went to Pierce Junior College and he took one course in electronics technology. Now, Bob Lazar was not a scientist. He was an electronics technician, somebody who you would call to, install an alarm system. He was not a top senior staff level physicist. Those were all lies pushed by less than credible people like George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell, who have, I believe, collectively made millions off of Bob Lazar's story over the years. So Bob Lazar and other of these alleged or supposed whistleblowers, despite their stories being sensational, they failed to provide concrete proof of their claims, which leads to widespread doubts about the veracity of their claims. Pardon me. So when we examine many of these stories, there is some commonalities, some things that many of these stories have in common, such as Area 51. Area 51 is the epicenter of alien technology myths and stories. Area 51 is a remote military base in Nevada and has long been associated with rumors of alien spacecraft and technology. The secrecy surrounding the base, by the way, they developed top secret weapons for the CIA there, and there's proof of that. So the secrecy around that base, coupled with its acknowledged role in testing super advanced military aircraft and other weapon systems, has made it the focal point for conspiracy theories. The association of Area 51 with extraterrestrial technology can be traced back to the late 1980s, when people like John Lear started claiming. John Lear came before Bob Lazar's story, and before Bob Lazar came out with his story, by the way, they were close friends. John Lear claimed that at Area 51, they were back engineering a multitude of alien spacecraft that was in the United States government's possession somehow. Next, Bob Lazar, close friend of John Lear, who first started making those claims, claimed to have somehow, just by coincidence, gotten a job at the exact facility that John Lear described 6 months or a year before Bob got the job and came out with his story, near Area 51, which Bob called S4, where he allegedly encountered alien spacecraft. Now, Lazar's claims, while compelling to many UFO enthusiasts, it used to be my favorite story. I truly believed it before I knew about Bob's history of essentially being a con artist and a broke loser that pretends to be a scientist. So Bob's claims have been widely criticized by at least rational researchers due to the lack of any verifiable evidence and his questionable background. But despite this, his story has been a cornerstone of Area 51 conspiracy theories that persist to this day. Then, of course, we have to talk about the role of popular culture and media. Area 51's notoriety has really been amplified by its frequent depiction in movies, television shows, and books. The base's image as a hub of alien activity has become so ingrained in popular culture that it has become difficult to disentangle fact from fiction when it comes to these stories. This has led, in my opinion, to a situation where the myths surrounding Area 51 are often more influential than the reality of its function as a testing site for advanced military technology. Besides Area 51, the other commonality in many of these stories of recovered alien spacecraft is quite often the stories involve one of two places where the technology or the spacecraft were taken, either Area 51 or Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is another alleged repository of alien secrets. But in the case of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, it does make sense that if you recovered alien technology, you would take it to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Why is that? Because Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is the home of the Foreign Technology Division. Now, certainly, if let's say a Russian MiG fighter crash lands somewhere, the United States government tries to go pick it up, and then it's taken to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and the Foreign Technology Division there will back engineer it, rip it apart, to stay ahead of our competition in the world. Same for any adversarial technology that is recovered. It all goes to the Foreign Technology Division at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And I can think of no technology more foreign than actual alien spacecraft. So it kind of makes sense that people would use that in their stories for where the material was taken. However, there are many on the record former military people who have claimed to have some knowledge of alien technology that was flown into Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. The Roswell debris was allegedly taken to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio has been the subject of rumors regarding the storage and study of alien spacecraft and bodies. And these claims often overlap with those related to the Roswell incident, suggesting that debris and bodies recovered from the crash were transported to Wright-Patterson for analysis. And then, of course, there's Project Blue Book and the Hangar 18 legend. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base was home to Project Blue Book as well, the U.S. Air Force's official investigation into UFO sightings, which ran from 1952 to 1969. And while Project Blue Book ultimately concluded that there was no evidence of extraterrestrial activity, rumors persisted that there was a secret facility at Wright-Patterson, often referred to as Hangar 18, that housed the alien artifacts and even the bodies in cryogenic or refrigerated chamber. The Hangar 18 legend has been a recurring theme in UFO conspiracy theories, with various accounts alleging that the United States government stores alien technology and even the remains of alien bodies within its walls. However, to date, no credible or verifiable evidence has ever been presented to substantiate these claims, and they remain firmly in the realm of speculation. And of course, we have to recognize that over the years, there has been several high-profile claims and conspiracy theories about crashed alien spacecraft and recovered bodies that have been thoroughly debunked and proven fake. And these cases highlight the importance of critical thinking and skepticism when we're evaluating these kind of sensational or extraordinary claims. The Majestic 12 documents is one of those things that has, I believe, been thoroughly debunked. The Majestic 12 documents, which surfaced in the 1980s, allegedly detailed a secret government group that was tasked with managing extraterrestrial affairs and essentially put in charge of picking up those alien spacecraft that crash and the alien bodies and dealing with them. The documents were presented as proof of a widespread cover-up involving alien technology and bodies. However, over time, they were exposed as forgeries by both independent researchers and by government officials. Despite being discredited, the Majestic 12 documents continue to be cited by some less than credible people as evidence of a government conspiracy. And we have, it's just so funny that this just came across my feed. So the MJ12 documents, which are proven fakes, are still used by people selling alien and UFO stories. And I just saw it. Let me see if I can find it. I just saw that our friend, our friend Ross Coulthart, who is a disgraced Australian journalist that's been caught selling multiple fake stories. We've caught him selling multiple fake stories. See our full coverage here of that. So, like I said, JFK, UFOs, and the Majestic 12 files. Ross Coulthart is still using completely and totally discredited fake documents to prove some sort of government conspiracy. And this is the problem. Another problem that I see is what I call LIVs, low information viewers. Many people may watch presentations like this and just take those Majestic 12 documents as being real, not realizing that they are forgeries, fakes. They're not real documents. They never were. And it's important to note that our other friend, I like calling guys that we trash on friends. They love it. Many people believe that these Majestic 12 documents came directly from Richard Doty. And there is some evidence to support that. And it's important to note that Richard Doty is an admitted and proven paid government disinformation agent. Mr. Doty has been involved in many fake alien stories, including the Serpo files and many other. Dulce Base, that all came from Richard Doty. It's all fake. And one might ask themselves, why is Richard Doty creating all of these fake documents? Some people believe it's because he's a government disinformation agent and he wants to throw people off of the real trail. So you kind of have conspiracies within conspiracies, which is very interesting. But I found it interesting that this just came across my feed. Now, in fairness, I haven't watched this entire thing, so I don't know if Mr. Coulthard is actually going to tell the truth that these documents are forged and fakes. I doubt it. I think he's using them like everybody who sells these stories use them, claiming that they're real documents. And there's still a website where you have to pay to get access to the so-called, more MJ12 documents. I believe there's father and son team, Mr. Wood, who is selling those documents. And certainly after the initial documents came out, which was a small bunch of documents, many more documents have appeared on the internet claiming to be part of the, referencing Majestic 12. And then, of course, we have scammers and grifters and con artists who use these documents to sell fake stories about aliens and UFOs. And it's always interesting to me that all these people claim that they're going to be telling you the truth while they're citing completely and totally fake documents. Oh, we're getting to the truth about those aliens. Well, the well is poisoned. If you're starting from a poisoned well and the documents you're using, and of course, many less than credible people have used these documents in their marketing or in their talking points to argue about the existence of the United States government covering up alien crash retrievals and bodies. One well-known example, of course, is one of the worst documentaries I've ever seen in my entire life. Maybe we'll do a watch party here. It's so bad, because that would be funny. And that is Corey Goode and David Wilcox Above Majestic. And you have to take a moment to recognize how ridiculous it is that a guy who claimed to be a time-traveling space adventurer is also naming his documentary after completely and totally fake documents, right? But it kind of makes sense. David Wilcock and Corey Goode are fake as shit. Of course they would use that. So important to note that many people rely on completely and totally fake, proven fake documents to sell this general mythology. So, yeah, they continue to be cited as evidence of a government conspiracy. So conspiracy theories about crashed alien spacecraft, recovered bodies, and secret government cover-ups continue to thrive in the public imagination, especially due to recent claims by people like Dave Grush. And while these narratives are compelling and often supported by sensationalized media coverage, if we critically examine them, we reveal they're largely based on completely and totally unverified claims, and many of the sources of these stories are the same small core group of people that have been making these claims for ages now. So there's a lack of credible evidence, coupled with the debunking of many of these high-profile claims, that suggests that many of these conspiracy theories are often are more reflective, I should say, of human psychology and cultural influences than of any genuine extraterrestrial visitation on Earth activity. And as such, they should be approached with a healthy degree of skepticism and critical analysis until concrete, verifiable evidence is actually shown. And remember, these people always claim that the proof is coming. Any day now, we're going to get the disclosure. And it never comes. It's always dangle a carrot. Now we see people like George Knapp dangling a new carrot. Oh, we're going to have a new documentary and we're going to have a video of a transmedium craft. But we've just seen that the Chinese are showing that they have transmedium craft. So this ridiculous argument, oh, it goes in the water and it flies. It's got to be alien technology. Humans have developed that technology. But back to the dangling of a carrot, we see, oh, James Fox is going to have a new documentary called The Program. And, you know, these guys do the same thing over and over and over again. Evidence-free stories, anonymous sources, crap videos that they claim are aliens but never prove it. They're always dangling the carrot, claiming that they're going to prove these sensational claims, but they never, ever do. So I really think that until concrete verifiable evidence is presented, the notion of crashed alien spacecraft and recovered bodies remains firmly in the realm of myth and speculation. And I have a very recent example here of these claims being made. Why can't I see the article? Oh, okay. There's a journalist, so-called journalist named Michael Schellenberger, who recently jumped into the UFO topic. I don't know what he used to write about, but he's been writing a lot of stories about aliens and UFOs. I think he figured out, hey, people will click on this. And he used over-sensationalized clickbait titles. Here's his most recent example, which just this article right here confirms that so much of this is bullshit. And Michael Schellenberger, if you want to actually get an education and stop being fooled, it appears to me that this Michael Schellenberger, somebody tells him something, he just prints it. He doesn't require any evidence. And his prolific use of anonymous sources should be a caution, a red flag. It should be a red flag that, oh yeah, my source told me the government definitely has alien spaceships. Okay, who's your source? Oh, I can't tell you. It's too classified. It's too sensitive. No, you're bullshitting people, Michael Schellenberger. How dare you? Why don't you get up off your ass and actually investigate the history of these claims being made? I would suggest we have a whole series of so-called former government whistleblowers, and we have a whole series on so-called alien crash retrieval cases. And go through that, Michael Schellenberger, before you keep printing this nonsense with no evidence. Just people, oh, somebody claimed it, I'm going to print it. I believe, especially if you're going to call yourself a journalist, you have some responsibility to investigate the claims and to demand evidence before running with the story. But in today's sensationalized clickbait world, that's not what we get. So I try to be fair to this guy, but the longer he's here printing the articles like this, the more I think he's a garbage peddling clown. And he should go get a real job and stop doing this, because all this does, all what people like Michael Schellenberger or Ross Coulthard or Corbell or Knapp, all it does is make this subject worthy of mockery, and with good reason. Anyway, here's his latest article. The U.S. has 12 or more alien spacecraft, say military and intelligence contractors. In April, the director of the, and by the way, this is fair use. I don't think I need to do this, but I'm going to put my fair use banner up. We're going to be discussing and critiquing the article that we are sharing and talking about it with our audience members in the live chat. So this is certainly covered under fair use. And this is a transformative work. We'll discuss and critique this video. I'm not sure how much of this I want to actually read. It's so bad. And I don't want to give this guy any more airtime than we have to. But this article by this Michael Schellenberger is a perfect example of over-sensationalized clickbait garbage stories. The U.S. has 12 or more alien spacecraft, say military and intelligence contractors. Military and intelligence agencies are withholding evidence from Congress, sources say. Oh, great. Are you going to name those sources, Michael Schellenberger? No, I can't. It's top secret. They all play this game. So the article goes on to say, in April, the director of the Pentagon's new program for studying UFOs said he had seen no evidence of alien spacecraft. I should also state clearly for the record, said Sean Kirkpatrick, the director of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, that in our research, AARO has found no credible evidence thus far of extraterrestrial activity, off-world technology, or objects that defy the known laws of physics. That line right there, defy the laws of physics. People use that in, it's a UFO grifter talking point. Oh, these things, they defy the laws of physics. There's no evidence of a craft in the sky defying the laws of physics. Show me the radar tapes. Show me the sensor data. Oh, you can't. And I'm sure there's a few very well-known actual physicists who dispute that talking point. These things defy the laws of physics. How many times have we all heard that? Oh, these things defy the laws of physics. How many people have actually provided evidence to back up that claim? None. The statement, which was part of a hearing on the topic, generated headlines around the world. UFO sightings are up, noted Politico, but no proof of aliens yet. Pentagon officials wrote News Nation, UFO chief, no credible evidence of extraterrestrial activity. But on Monday, an Air Force whistleblower contradicted the Pentagon's claim, telling the debrief and News Nation that the U.S. government is in possession of quite a number of alien spacecraft. It was totally nuts, David Grush said. I thought at first I was being deceived. And actually, yeah, I'm sorry, this isn't his latest article, but it's a great example of this clickbait garbage peddling. I thought this was recent. Somebody just reposted it on Twitter. That's why it came across my feed. So Grush said he soon learned that the United States government possessed quite a number of different kinds of non-human vehicles. I have plenty of current and former senior intelligence officials who came to me, many of whom I knew almost my entire career, and they confided in me. This is not the first time government officials have suggested that the U.S. may possess alien spaceships. I was told for decades that Lockheed had some of these retrieved materials, said the late Senator Harry Reid, who fought for greater disclosure. And I tried to get, as I recall, a classified approval by the Pentagon to have me go look at the stuff. They would not approve that. Harry Reid is a true believer wackadoo, but anyway, and he was also responsible for defrauding the American taxpayers out of $22 million, which he gave to his buddy Bob Bigelow to study dino beavers, shape-shifting aliens, orbs, poltergeists, werewolves, and more at Skinwalker Ranch. The article goes on to say, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense Christopher Mellon, see, it's the same people over and over again. Harry Reid, Christopher Mellon, Hal Puthoff, recently reported that he has spoken to no more than 4 witnesses who may know that of a secret U.S. government program involving the analysis or exploitation of materials recovered from off-world craft. Some have supplied information to the intelligence community's Inspector General, others directly to the staff at the Congressional Oversight Committee. Notice what we're missing so far? Oh, somebody told me the government has aliens. Great. Can we talk to them and see their proof? No. Sources say. Sources say this kind of circle jerk reporting is what's wrong with the reporting on this stuff. And great. Grush's claims are shocking, and he has not made public any photographs, video, or written evidence to support them. At least he admits that. He says he never saw any of the alleged non-human spacecraft himself, and in response to a query, Defense Department spokesperson Sue Gao repeated what Kirkpatrick said in April. To date, AARO has not discovered any verifiable information to substantiate claims that any programs regarding the possession or reverse engineering of extraterrestrial materials have existed in the past or exist currently. The article goes on to say, but while Grush has not shared written evidence in an unclassified way, he did provide classified intelligence reports, emails, and other documents to Thomas A. Moynham, the Intelligence Community Inspector General, as the law allows. As for photographs, the Defense Department prohibited Grush from sharing any, as the letter from the DoD below shows. Yeah, but he claimed that he didn't have any pictures, so I don't know. And now multiple sources close to the matter, look at that, sources close to the matter have come forward to tell public that Grush's core claims are accurate. Okay, so we've got one guy that has no evidence in the form of Dave Grush, and then Schellenberger cites Christopher Mellon, who says he has 4 sources that say, so, you know, this whole story is one big circle jerk. Oh, Dave Grush said he talked to all these people that said the government has aliens. Great. Can we talk to them? Well, no. But we did hear from Christopher Mellon, who said he's got 4 sources that say that the government has alien spacecraft. Great. Can we talk to them? Well, no. And now, just to circle jerk this thing even more, multiple sources close to the matter have come forward to tell public, that's this guy's shit news outlet, I guess, that Grush's core claims are accurate. The individuals are all either high-ranking intelligence officials, former intelligence officials, or individuals we could verify were involved in U.S. government UAP efforts for 3 or more decades each. So who did he talk to? Lou Elizondo, Travis Taylor, Eric Davis, the same core group of assholes that have been making these claims with no proof for decades. 2 of them have testified, including as recently as last year, to both AARO and Congress. And this article came before the AARO report. And we know that the AARO report said that basically all the people that came to testify to them were full of shit and had no evidence. But this shitty journalist just took what they said as true and printed it. The individuals said they had seen or been presented with credible and verifiable evidence that the U.S. government, the U.S. military contractors, possess at least 12 or more alien spacecrafts, some of which they shared with AARO, which AARO has refused to provide to Congress. The reason AARO has not discovered any verifiable information, they said, is because it does not have the authority to verify it and may not want to verify it. This is completely and totally 100% factually false statement. AARO had full authority to view anything, classified, special access projects, unnamed special access projects, USAPs, completely and totally factually inaccurate in this article. See, you got to lie to sell the story. Oh, they don't have the authority. We told AARO where to look for the aliens, but AARO doesn't have the authority to get to the truth. Yes, they do. And yes, they did. And this has been verified multiple times. In his testimony to Congress, Kirkpatrick said AARO is operating under Title 10 authority, but most intelligence agencies operate a higher Title 50 authority, explained a source. The intelligence community with Title 50 feels free to stonewall AARO with Title 10 because they view Title 10 authority as inferior. Great. Kirkpatrick was told, has made public statements that nothing that he wanted to see was denied him. And here, look, they're calling this an alien craft. For all we know, that's a puddle on the ground, right? And let's look at who he's citing and using as a source. This clown, Michael Schellenberger, is using Jeremy Corbell as a source. Jeremy Corbell has been caught hoaxing flares as alien spacecraft. Jeremy Corbell has been caught hoaxing and making perhaps hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars from Bob Lazar, a convicted pimp fake scientist that never worked at Area 51. And we proved that. This is the quality of information he's willing to accept and put in print. This is a problem. You have to have standards of evidence. And if you have no standards of evidence, then you're going to be peddling a lot of garbage. Yeah, I think I've had enough. I really think I've had enough, friends. This whole article is garbage. It's absolutely garbage. I just don't get it. But it is a perfect example of how these myths perpetuate and why they continue to keep going. Because over and over and over and over again, we see the same people making the same claims, the same people who never provide evidence. And this circle jerk of an article is the perfect example of why this works. Well, sources close to the matter say, great, can we see those sources? Well, no. Grush has stated that he has 40 sources that told him that the government has aliens. Great. Can we talk to all 40 of them? Well, no, you can't talk to one of the 40. None of them. Well, you can talk to one, Jason Sands, who's also supposed to be one of Grush's sources for why he said the government has alien spacecraft, who's also telling people that he went on 20 and back time travel adventures and met blue avian aliens in the desert somewhere. Can you say wackadoo? So what is clear, and then also, well, you can't talk to Grush's sources, but Christopher Mellon chimed in and said he's got 4 sources that said, yeah, the government's got alien bodies and spacecraft. Great, can we talk to them? Well, no, you can't talk to them either. They're anonymous. And then, of course, we're going to throw, how many anonymous sources were used? We've got 40 from, think about this. This is where it gets so stupid. This one article used 40 anonymous sources from Dave Grush, 4 anonymous sources from Christopher Mellon, and then several sources apparently close to the matter. So we're at like 45 or 46. We'll say 2 or 3 people where the sources close to the matter that he's using. This dude just used like 47 anonymous sources to write that story. And while he names Grush and Mellon, he won't name the sources that they're using. It's all one big game of telephone, one big circle jerk. Everybody's just repeating claims and jerking each other off, get that disclosure boner going, right? It is absolutely, this whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. I am so glad that I woke up from being one of those that I called a low information viewer. And because low information viewers don't stop to critically think, don't examine, like, look at how we just tore that article apart. If you need 47 anonymous sources, then you're the shit journalist. You are a garbage peddler. You're not a journalist. I really think that we have to really, really demand better from people that are covering these subjects. But unfortunately, this entire subject matter, we've talked about it many times, is just filled with liars, con artists, criminals, hoaxers, less than credible journalists willing to do anything to sell a story and more. It's really sad, but that's just the way it is. Listen, the promise of quick money and huge viewership is what draws these less than credible people. You know, a good person doesn't wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm going to start selling fake alien stories to make a living. Who does that? Who wakes up and says, I'm going to just sell fake alien stories because there's great money in it? A scumbag does that. And I get a lot of flack for being too negative and aggressive and harsh. If you sell fake alien stories for money, then you're a scumbag. You are a scumbag. People desperately want to believe this is real. And so you're taking advantage of, in many cases, many mentally fragile and vulnerable people in order to make a living. Imagine, if you couldn't eat today unless you did well selling a fake alien story. That's why these things work. That's why it goes on and on and on. So I have another part of my presentation here. We're doing great on time. I actually got through this a lot quicker than I thought I would. So I guess we'll go through the rest of this to conclude our broadcast. So for decades, friends, the belief that the United States government is in possession of alien spacecraft and technology has persisted in both popular culture and certain segments of the public discourse. These claims are often accompanied by allegations of a government cover-up to suppress the truth about extraterrestrial visitation. Tonight, we tried to critically examine the history of some of those claims, highlighting instances of hoaxes and analyzing the credibility of many of the individuals who make such assertions. Through a skeptical lens, we explored the cultural, psychological, and political factors that perpetuate these beliefs. As I stated in the beginning of the broadcast, the notion that the U.S. government has secretly acquired alien spacecraft and technology has been a staple of UFO lore since the mid-20th century. From the infamous Roswell incident in 1947 to more recent alleged whistleblower testimony, claims of extraterrestrial visitation and subsequent government cover-ups have captivated the imagination of the public. But as we showed you, a critical examination of these claims reveals a complex tapestry of deception, hoaxes, anonymous sources, unsubstantiated assertions, and very questionable sources for the so-called evidence of these claims. Tonight, I think we did a pretty good job dissecting the long history of some of these claims and scrutinizing their origins and, of course, the credibility of people who propagate them. So we talked about Area 51 and Wright-Patterson. Of course, Area 51 is a highly classified base in Nevada and has long been the focal point of speculation regarding storage and reverse engineering of so-called alien spacecraft or even alien bodies. So far, however, there is no real or credible evidence to support the claim that Area 51 houses extraterrestrial technology. The secrecy surrounding the facility's operations has undoubtedly contributed to its association with UFO myths. And we also, tonight, we covered these Majestic 12 documents. And they surfaced in the 80s. They were complete and total fakes and forgeries. They were supposed to be revealing a secret government group established by President Harry Truman to manage extraterrestrial affairs, but the documents were quickly debunked as forgeries. And they may have been created, I underlined may because I can't prove it, they may have been created by well-known government disinformation agent Richard Doty. There is some substantial supportive evidence that they indeed originated with well-known government disinformation agent, and now he's a UFO celebrity somehow, Richard Doty, who worked for the Air Force Office of Special Investigation, running disinformation campaigns that literally drove one man crazy. And as I said, these documents continue to be cited by conspiracy theories as evidence of a government cover-up. We talked about the alien autopsy film and how that was completely and totally fake, but really was a sensation. It was so popular, it was the highest rated television special at the time in history. We talked to Bob Kiviat about that, who was the producer and writer behind that alien autopsy special on Fox. But of course, the so-called alien autopsy was later admitted to be a hoax by its creator, Ray Santilli. And despite his admission, the film is still referenced in some UFO circles as evidence of these alien body and alien spacecraft recovery stories. And of course, recent years have seen a resurgence of interest in UFOs, particularly following the release of military footage showing unidentified aerial phenomenon, or UFOs. The three videos that were first published, I believe, in the New York Times, the Tic Tac, the Gimbal, and the so-called Go Fast. And while these videos have sparked renewed debate about the possibility of alien technology, they have also been co-opted by hoaxers and conspiracy theories. And I believe those three videos don't show proof or evidence of anything, and at least two of the three have been definitively debunked as not what they were presented as. After all, they were labeled as UAS, unmanned aerial systems, balloons, drones, on the release form that Luis Elizondo used. Luis Elizondo admits in the form he's getting them declassified through, these are balloons, unmanned aerial systems, or drones. Then Luis Elizondo goes on a tear claiming that they're alien technology for years, lying to potential investors of TTSA. But hey, he got a television show and a book deal out of it. So who cares if those videos were nothing alien? Let people think they were aliens and I'll make tons of money. That's kind of how this works. I believe it's crucial to distinguish between credible investigators into UFOs and UAPs and the unfounded claims that often accompany them. And we really have to separate people like Luis Elizondo, who are just whores. I'm sorry. Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, these people, Luis Elizondo, these people are whores. They're here to get paid. We can never forget that. And then, of course, This recent resurgence in claims of whistleblowers and former government officials is very challenging because, people hear that somebody's a high-ranking military office or they have high-ranking clearances, and they suddenly just think they're telling the truth. And they were in a position to know, so they must be telling the truth. So one of the most challenging aspects of assessing these UFO claims is evaluating the credibility of the people who are making the claims. Over the years, numerous individuals, including former military personnel and government officials, have come forward with stories of alien encounters and government cover-ups. And while many of these individuals have impressive military or intelligence agency credentials, their claims usually lack any corroborating evidence, and they rely heavily on anecdotal accounts. In other words, stories. Anecdotes are stories. For instance, Bob Lazar, who we mentioned, who is a convicted pimp fake scientist, he is a self-proclaimed former employee of Area 51, has claimed to have worked on reverse engineering alien technology. However, his academic and professional background has been proven to be completely and totally fake. And there is no independent verification of any of his claims. Similarly, former Canadian Minister of Defense Paul Hellyer has publicly stated his belief in extraterrestrial visitation, but his assertions have been met with skepticism due to his lack of empirical evidence. Paul Hellyer essentially believed that if it was put into a book, it was true. And he cites ridiculous people for proof. It's really problematic. And we should take a moment to talk about the media as well, because this current clickbait, attention-based economy that we're in is really a problem, and the media plays a significant role in shaping public perception of these UFO claims. Sensationalized reporting, coupled with the portrayal of UFOs in movies and television shows, has blurred the line between fact and fiction to many. This environment allows individuals with dubious credibility to gain a platform, further perpetuating these unfounded, evidence-free claims. The U.S. government has conducted several investigations into UFOs, most notably Project Blue Book. Project Blue Book investigated thousands of UFO reports, the vast majority of which were explained as natural phenomena or misidentified aircraft. The project concluded that none of the reports posed a threat to national security or provided evidence of any extraterrestrial visitation or technology. Despite the findings of Project Blue Book and subsequent investigations, like the current investigation by AARO, which found no credible evidence of extraterrestrial visitation or technology, and despite all of that proof being put forth and the government wasting a huge amount of money on what is essentially, chasing shadows, these claims of government cover-up have still persisted. These claims often cite classified military projects and the government's reluctance to fully disclose information as evidence of a broader conspiracy. However, I believe in government transparency, but just because you think the aliens are visiting planet Earth doesn't mean that the government should have to open the doors of Area 51 and let you see everything inside there. There's national security, concerns when it comes to these things. Next, we should talk about PSYOPs a bit and the role of disinformation and PSYOPs, or psychological operations. Some researchers have suggested that the U.S. government has deliberately fostered UFO myths as a form of disinformation or psychological warfare. During the Cold War, for example, it is believed that UFO stories were encouraged to distract the public from secret military projects, things like the U-2 spy plane, the Blackbird. The government encouraged stories of flying saucers and aliens to cover for those projects. Additionally, the possibility that some UFO claims are the result of misidentified advanced military technology cannot be ruled out. It's important to note that when it comes to psychological operations, we've got 100% proof in the form of Richard Doty that the government has actively essentially told United States citizens that they were being visited by aliens when it was in fact top secret U.S. technology that they were seeing. And of course, there's an excellent documentary called Mirage Men, which I highly suggest if you want to see how the United States government actively drove a person crazy, telling them that he's filming aliens when he was in fact filming top secret drone technology. It's the famous Benowitz case. So, my friends, the enduring belief that the United States government is in possession of alien spacecraft is a complex phenomenon rooted in a mix of genuine mystery, hoaxes, and cultural influences. And while some claims are made by individuals with seemingly credible backgrounds, they usually lack the empirical evidence necessary to substantiate such extraordinary assertions. Furthermore, the history of hoaxes and scams and the influence of popular culture when it comes to UFOs have significantly shaped public perception, making it very challenging to separate fact from fiction. So, my friends, from a skeptical perspective, the most plausible explanation for the persistence of all these claims lies not in extraterrestrial visitation, but in a combination of human psychology, misinformation, government psychological operations, and the allure of mystery or the unknown. Until compelling 100% smoking gun verifiable evidence is presented, the claims that the United States government is in possession of alien spacecraft should be viewed with a critical eye and a healthy dose of skepticism. So we will take some comments and questions from the live chat. Let me catch up to you, kind and generous benefactors. Well, we only have one I didn't read. Nivik Spilkaman, I hope I'm saying that right, with a kind and generous £2, says, I like negative, aggressive, and harsh. Some people do like that. And I appreciate that you appreciate what I do. Thanks for appreciating us. We certainly appreciate you. Praise the cash, bitches.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
For those unaware, we're a viewer-supported show. I read every single super chat on screen and thank every single person. You can also buy me a coffee, and it's just buy me a coffee / Truth Seekers. 1 second, I'm gonna go over to YouTube because I don't believe I put that in the description of the video today. Got to change that, but I will put the link in the live chat if you wish to buy me a coffee. Caffeine makes my world go round, and I'll pin that in the live chat. We appreciate all of you helping to keep the show going. We're a viewer-supported show. We're here due to the kindness, generosity, and support of all of you. And my thanks to you YouTube channel members and you Patreon supporters. By the way, I've already rendered the video. I just didn't have time to upload it before the broadcast tonight. Many people, pardon me, I have a tickle in my throat, friends. Many people have been asking me. Last year, for those unaware, I bought a little plot of land in the middle of the woods, and which I call the hideaway because there's nothing for miles but woods. And this place is so remote and so hidden, you'll never find it unless you know exactly right where it is with GPS coordinates. It's that remote, way high up in the mountains, in the woods. It's really quickly becoming my favorite place in the world. I just love it. There's logging trails for miles in all directions around this property, which I've been hiking and really enjoying myself. So last year, I decided, I'm going to build a new cabin there. And what happened was I got rained out for 9 weekends in a row. All the fall, it seemed like every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it rained for 9 weekends in a row, or maybe it was 8. So last year I failed miserably at building a cabin there. all I managed to do was put up a tent, which I really believe blew away. We had a huge windstorm and it blew away. But anyway, I've gotten back to it, and I have done a sort of update to show you the hideaway. I'll be posting that for Patreon supporters and for YouTube channel members. And I wanted to announce, I'm trying to get some good karma going. So I'm going to make an announcement today, and that is that if you are a YouTube channel member or one of my Patreon supporters, and I finish that cabin there, you can stay for a night in that cabin, but you have to provide your own food, transportation, all of that. And I'm simply going to meet you and show you where it is. But I'm not sure when this will take place, but I'm just putting that out there. I will be allowing some viewers of the show, and it's going to be first come, first serve. I don't know how many, for all I know, 100 people will want to spend a weekend there, and there's not enough weekends in the year. But I'm going to put that out there. If you're one of my supporters, whether a YouTube channel member or Patreon supporter, or hey, maybe you just remind me if you threw super chats at me or buy me a coffee or PayPal pledges. If you're a show supporter, that's how I'm going to say it. When and if I finish that cabin, I'm going to allow some people that are viewers of the show to spend some time there. So I've done a video just giving an update of what's going on there. I'm going to reboot trying to build a cabin there. And it's important that I build a cabin there because I show in this next video that we've got bears all around that place. And I don't feel comfortable sleeping there at night in just a tent. In fact, I don't feel comfortable being there during the day with just a tent. I really want to have some kind of solid structure. Generally, the bears, when they see me, they turn around and go the other way. I've seen several bears, and by the way, it's black bears there. We don't have grizzlies, thank God. That would be terrifying. Black bears to me are scary enough. But anyway, I've encountered a few bears there at this property. And in all but one case, they turned around and just walked the other way. But one time, a bear, he was just sort of real slowly walking towards me, and he would not back away. I tried making noise, yelling at him, banging things, picking up a big stick, try to scare him away. He did not back down. He kept walking straight towards me. So I ran, I don't know, probably a mile back to where my car was. So it's important that we have a structure there. And I'm also going to take some other precautions. Like I'm going to put a siren in. A siren is very effective. They don't like loud noises. So if you have a siren and you blare the siren at it, they usually run away. Now, in the case of that one bear, I didn't really stick around to see how close to where I was he got. I just knew he wouldn't turn around and go. So I had to turn around and go. In any case, I'm going to be building this cabin there and even inviting show viewers to stay there. I'm not sure how big the cabin is going to be, so you may be staying there by yourself while I'm in the other cabin or what. We'll figure something out. It's a beautiful place. In any case, for Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members, I'll be posting that video directly after the broadcast. Alien Scientist is here. Shout out to Alien Scientist. And I apologize for not getting to do the thing we were going to do. Just too busy with my kids home all summer. And you know something about that, Jeremy, being a busy working dad yourself. How about Matt Ford making fun of your eye? Yeah, Matt Ford, piece of shit that he is from the Good Propaganda Show, is making fun of me. And I happen to have a paralyzed eye. And so I told him that I always love it when people do that, Jeremy, because I always say the same thing. Like, hey, you can make fun of me, but I wear the glasses for medical reasons. Maybe there's some kids in wheelchairs you could go make fun of next, you know? Jeremy says, yeah, we got to do a show. Are you using StreamYard now, Jeremy? Because do you know there's a way that we can simulcast? One of us starts the stream, and then there's some way that you can I got to look it up again, but there's some way that we should do that. We'll just do a stream on both our channels at the same time. I think that would be great. My audience would love to hear from you. I don't know about your audience loving to hear from me, but I definitely will. I think that would be great. And we haven't done a show together in quite some time. Pathfinder says, I would crap myself if I ever saw one that close. To be honest, it would probably help. Yeah, I've also been charged by a mama bear at the other cabin. I got in between her and the cubs, and she went up on her hind legs and growled and started running right at me. I almost shit my pants. I ran in the cabin. We'll take some questions and comments from the live chat before we wrap things up here. Matt Ford, the gynecologist of Wilcock and Jiggling Doughboy, has no room to insult. Well, I thought it was funny that he was insulting me for my appearance. I said I'm going to send him some mirrors, right? Like, who is that guy to talk about anybody else's appearance, right? I got his address. I think I'm going to send him some diet pills and Slim Fast, right? Maybe I'll do that. Right? You want to talk about appearance? You know, I generally try to not attack somebody's appearance, even if they're attacking mine. But in the case of Matt Ford, there's plenty of material there, but I'd rather not go there. I regret even saying the thing about his weight, right? I think there's plenty to attack about Matt Ford. I don't need to go to his appearance, you know. But I love how he's almost crying on his last live stream for Lou Elizondo and what a hero he is. That's incredible. Like, you know, he's a fake Pentagon program director, and he's just been here trying to fill his pockets with every UFO dollar he can for 6 years now. He's not a hero. He's a zero. He's a lying scumbag. Anthony Peterson says, I love hiking, and I'm thinking of getting bear repellent spray. Yeah, I'm going to order some bear spray myself. Bear spray is basically just mace, isn't it? I think so. I think it's like pepper spray, right? I don't know. I walked right into a wild boar. It had tusks. It startled me. Then I startled it. That's scary. Yeah, that's scary. The rant about Lou was sad, says Jeremy, alien scientist. Yeah, Archaic Revival. My pronoun, until it's not, is Lizardarius. Chuck Bam wants Al Gore to run for president. Oh, man. Reminds me of the song in Carney, They Call Me the Fat Man. Yeah, so questions or comments for me, please put them in all capital letters. I would appreciate that. I mentioned that I'm having a medical issue with my eye, and it's not certain, but I may have to go have a minor surgery on my paralyzed eye, which sucks. I don't want to do that. So I'm trying to do everything I can to deal with the problem on my own. I'm doing hot compresses, and I'm on antibiotics. I have antibiotic drops. I have a huge pus ball sty on the corner of my paralyzed eye. I get them a few times a year, but this is the worst one I've ever had, which is very painful, annoying, and distracting. And I've had it for got to be a full week now. Usually 7 to 10 days, they go away. Not this one. Shotgun or 45 for bears when family is around, for sure. I'm considering having a firearm, Bobby. I want to talk to a local police officer, though, because I don't know. I happen to be in my state. Let me see. How can I best explain this? In my state, I can't have a permit to carry. And so I don't know how that works. Like, I got to talk to a local police officer and explain to him, look, I have this land. I bike over there on my bicycle, my mountain bike. And what do I do? Because I would like to have a firearm there in case of an emergency with a bear. But I don't think I can get a permit to carry. So I guess you're just transporting the gun there, and then can't you carry it while you're there on your own private property? I would think so, but I want to talk to a local police officer so they could tell me that. Volunteer to be a test patient for the Neuralink eye. Well, there's some risks involved with that, alien scientist. Here's what I will say. If my paralyzed eye was 100% paralyzed, I think I would probably do that. But my eye is not totally paralyzed, so it still provides some help with my vision. And as I understand it, the Neuralink eye will require removal of your organic eye. Would I like to have a bionic eye, though? Sure. And if I knew 100% that it would work and restore my vision to pre-brain aneurysm vision, I would do it in a minute. But I'm worried that they'll take my eye out and the thing won't work or something. And then I'll have even worse vision than I have right now, which is really degenerating and bad. Every once in a while, I worry that I'm going to go blind completely before I die, because one of the things that happens when you have a paralyzed eye is that the other eye strains the good eye strains all the time, and that degenerates that eye. So my vision is going to get worse over time. Hopefully not much worse, because to be very honest, I could barely drive right now. Yeah, I agree. Jeremy says, wish you a speedy recovery. Matt Ford's a clueless jerk. He's a delusional lunatic. My grandpa loved the mountains, beautiful place where nature can be scary. Yeah, we have, there is bobcats there at the cabin. There is very big coyotes, bigger than usual coyotes. It was explained to me by a local state park ranger that the coyotes there are so big because they've interbred with local dogs or something, or wolves. They're huge. Coyotes usually, a certain size. These are wolf size, the ones that I've been seeing. And I have seen a couple of coyotes at the cabin. I have seen, I think I saw a bobcat, but I can't be sure because it scampered off so fast. These are things that could kill you. A coyote that big, a pack of them, especially a bear, and they're supposed to be mountain lions. I've never seen a mountain lion there, and many people think that that's a myth, that there's mountain lions in the Pocono area, but at least I think so. I always forget. Let me see, mountain lions in the Poconos. I mean, I think that people have seen them, but the general, the Pennsylvania Game Commission says there's no verifiable evidence that mountain lions, known as cougars or pumas, currently live in Pennsylvania's wild. The last known wild mountain lion was killed in Berks County in 1874, but people still claim that they see them. So who knows? But for sure, there's bobcats, and they can kill you, I would think. I don't know. Anything in nature that can kill you, you have to be respectful of, and alien scientist says, I've seen mountain lions in New Hampshire. Those are scary because they could jump on your back and kill you. And there's a lot of reports of mountain lions attacking people. If they get hungry enough, and that can definitely kill you. They're a couple 100 pounds, I think. Terrifying. Imagine that thing jumping on your back, Jeremy. So listen, I think we've done our due diligence. We're going to call this a quick show. Let me take a moment just to check in with our PayPal. Remember, we're a viewer-supported show. I read and thank every single person that sends any support our way, whether you're sending it through a PayPal pledge, a super chat, buying me a coffee, or any of that. We thank every single person. Okay, so we just want to thank Maria for a kind and generous $55.55 PayPal. I don't know why, but people love to send these odd amounts. Maybe there's some numerical significance to that. And Maria just says, I love the show about demons and aliens. Please do more like that. Well, we appreciate that, and we aim to please, so we will try to do that for you. Thanks for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, friends. So I think we've done our due diligence. And in regard to what is my, I'm sure people are going to ask me, do I really just believe that all of the stuff about the government being in possession of alien spacecraft or bodies or technology are fake? I still think that I hang on a little bit because I would really love for that to be true. I love these stories. I grew up with these stories, but until I see real verifiable evidence, I just have to remain cautious that, and I see too much fakery and fraud in this thing to not think that a great deal of it is bullshit. But I still remain open to the possibility that it's true. I know that Jeremy has done, Jeremy Rise is in our audience, alien scientist. He's done some incredible research into something called Battelle Institute. And if we really have alien spacecraft, I think that Battelle Institute is directly involved. And Jeremy's got some great research that'll make it, that probably, if I reviewed it again, would make me rethink my position that it's bullshit. It's all bullshit. Battelle Institute is involved with all levels of government and high technology. Nivik sent me a video so that I can pronounce his name right. Nivik Spilkamon. Okay, so I apologize. I mangled this guy's name, Nivik Spilkamon, so much that he sent me a video. Here's how you say my name for future reference. But thank you, Nivik. I appreciate it. And listen, names are important, and I want to say it right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm being trolled by somebody who says answer no, that I know is a true believer that the United States government is answering, is hiding alien spacecraft. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, so listen, we've done our due diligence. Yeah, Operation Shutdown says, I'm looking forward to a show with truth seekers and alien scientists. Yeah, me too. We always have a good conversation. I think it's all a huge psyop by the government to cover up UFOs and poison the well. Well, there's another great possibility. You know, I'm open to all possibilities still, but I just lean towards the BS one, Jeremy, because there's too many scammers, too many fake stories, too many hoaxes, too many profiteers here to get any real truth, you know? And I always think it's so funny that all these people that sell these fake stories are like, we're going to get to the truth, as they're showing you fake documents to support their truth. Right? It's kind of ridiculous. So I'm not sure when I'm going to be back, but be sure to follow me on my Twitter, X. Try to stop saying Twitter. Be sure to follow me on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. It's at Stephen Cambion, just my name. Also, be sure to check out our website. You can get all our latest episodes, whether you're looking for the audio version or the video version. They're all at our website. truthseekershow.com. One truth seeker, the word show.com. Also, please be sure to check out our merchandise. We have an Amazon store where you could buy some merchandise, and that certainly helps the show. We want to take a moment to thank you, kind and generous benefactors, you Twitch subscribers, you PayPal supporters, you PayPal pledgers, you people buying me a coffee, YouTube channel members, super chatter, super thanks, super stickers, and the super thanks. You can throw a couple of bucks in our hat, even if you're watching a replay. We appreciate all of you. And we thank you for helping us to praise the cash. I'll be back to praise the cash soon enough, but tomorrow, I believe, I will be heading to the cabin. Me and my wife and my children, we're trying to soak up every last bit of summer fun we can there. My wife's only goes to the cabin really during the summer. So, and I'm hopeful that I'll get over to that other property and make another video for you guys. But for now, that's all I got for you. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless all of you.